Facebook group.
Hey,
So we're
I'm
going
going
to
to
record.
introduce. So
Okay. You're going to record to it,
no,
or
it's
you want me
fine.
to?
Oh yeah, it's fine. Heidi will record. I'll record. That's fine. Anyway, so welcome everybody. We have Aleasha Bahr here. She's one of our intruders for today. So we have like two intruders. Yes, and Alicia's going to give a very important 15-minute. I think it's a 15-minute discussion on how to, do a sale. I think it's from direct. If everyone tells me right, Alicia, it's direct sale, like it's to the cold market, and how to do it without feeling slimy. So when we think about, direct sales, we think about pitching and all that. We always think about, there's these sales processes and people take it too far. I hope Aleasha doesn't do this, but the big giant like 1 minute pause where people are feeling awkward. I'm sure Alicia's got some ways
oh
to
yeah,
navigate that. Oh God. So what I'm going to do, Aleasha, we are recording now. We
okay.
call it a bit of fatigue because people are getting the recordings until November the 27th, the free ticket holders.
Okay.
But after that, they don't get the only paid ones get recordings. But this recording, we're going to send it to all of you because we think this is very, very important. And I'm going to try and get Marie to stream to
We're
my
going to
group.
try. And in the meantime, while we're figuring this out, could you give at least a quick introduction of your background but tell us a little about yourself?
Yes. So my name's Aleasha Bahr, and I create custom sales strategies that allow you to convert over 80% of your leads without paying, pitching, or pretending to be somebody else. And I've personally sold over 50 million in services, and I've helped a lot of other introverts and solopreneurs do the same with a proven framework that's customized to you because people are different. I think that with the freelancers here, it's not so much that they're using a generic strategy. It sounds like they're probably more winging it and having no strategy. So both of those are ineffective, using a one size fits all or just winging it. So I can give you a bit of structure here for those that are winging it, and I can give you some alternatives to the one size fits all strategy too.
Well, that sounds
Awesome.
perfect. So what do you think? Okay, so can you describe, it might maybe generic, but maybe if they need to learn how to, specify it into the mold, that's when they can look at how you could help them as well. Because I know you have a special at the moment, and not, maybe you can even show, maybe there's something they can go to get further. But maybe now we can discuss the generic. Is that better? Do you believe?
So somewhere they can go to get more. Yeah. My group, Sales Is Not a Dirty Word on Facebook, has a ton of free resources. You like that, Dave? Thank you. Yeah. So there's a ton of free resources in the guide section there. And then you'll also have an opportunity to sign up for my pitch weaving guide that's free. And you can ask anything in there, and I'm very active in the group. So yeah, I would definitely say that is the best place to start. If you are looking to see if what I do aligns with what you would like to do. And I can go ahead and talk first about, should we like put the link in the chat box or something to Sales Is Not a Dirty Word?
We can.
I'm going to put the chat to the community in there. Marie's kind of streaming to her profile. It has a lot of like, what is it, Mary Kay? So they'll. What we're going to ask you to do, Aleasha, not mention the audience's name, because some people here are kind of shy of the live stream. They're kind of in the attendee list. So we're going to keep the question and answers generic, unless they give us their permission, because Marie's streaming this. So
okay,
yeah. We're protecting people's identities just for
it's all anonymous.
Yeah. Yes,
exactly. Are you okay, Aleasha? Because we know Aleasha does a lot of content marketing. You can see lots of videos on LinkedIn and YouTube. So, take it away, Aleasha, and I'm going to put the chat. Oh, you've done it. Thank you. Take it away, Aleasha. Take it away.
Okay. So, first I'll address your comment about being like really quiet after talking about the price. So this is really awkward for a lot of people, for like the buyer and the seller. I personally just like asking, is that investment realistic for you right now? So my thought on it is that person is having a conversation in their head because they're feeling pressure. And I'd like to be part of that conversation instead of them feeling pressure to like blurt out an answer. So it's a lot easier way to make it a conversation about finances instead of like this standoff of who's going to break first. So
that's
anyway,
when it makes awkward, I think.
It does make it awkward.
Yeah.
So I would say one of the biggest things that I see freelancers missing in their sales process is explaining why they're suggesting something. So they'll do some discovery and understand what the other person's going through. And then they'll be like, oh, great. Well, I would say that we should do, or like, for example, I work with this guy who's really big into SEO. Well, we need to set up your Google Search Console, and we need to set up your YouTube, and we want to do a full audit on blah, blah, blah. And we'd set you up for these. This person doesn't know any of that at all. So you would want to say like, well, I would suggest a full SEO setup so that you will be able to rank for search terms that your customers are using on Google. That's all you need to say. You don't need to say like, you need to connect the dot to the why you're suggesting the thing that you're suggesting. So we do an audit so that we can keep the pieces that are working really well and not reinvent the wheel and just eliminate the pieces that aren't working. But if you just say we would do an audit, that doesn't sound exciting. Tell the person why they care about the audit. So connecting the dot of your strategy is going to make a huge difference in your sales. And so often freelancers almost just assume that the other person knows the value of what they're saying, like how it's valuable that they would be doing keyword research, how it's valuable they would be writing content, how it's valuable that they would be doing a UX layout for a website, and then running it through A/B tests. Like they have no idea. You definitely want to let them know. So that's one of the main things that I would say. And a lot of times with freelancers, there's proposal-based sales. And one of the number one biggest mistakes that people make in proposal-based sales is they send a proposal in an email instead of setting a meeting. And then it goes into this like never-ending follow-up black hole, because nobody wants to respond with whatever their question or the thing that they didn't like about it was. And so it's just like got this huge delay. You're not able to explain your proposal, why you sent over the things that you sent. So what you want to do is on the call, okay, I'm going to put a plan together with you. Are you available on blah, blah, blah day and time to go through it? You're going to set the meeting on the call. And then you're going to have your proposal and you're going to go through it with them. Once again, connecting every deliverable in your proposal to why you're suggesting that deliverable. You mentioned that you really want to reach people 18 to 24. So I included TikTok, since that is where such a huge amount of users that age group are. And we can really capitalize on trends that will make you go viral, whatever. You know, you're going to want to explain the strategy, not just say the things. So it's like, you know, think of like a roofer. Well, I gave you these shingles and I gave you this epoxy glue and I gave you, you know, it'll take 3 weeks. And it's like, that just doesn't sound as cool as like, I got you this shingle because it has a 5-year guarantee on it. And it's got this beautiful look that just really looks high end. That's what you want to hear, you know? So when you're going through the proposal, you want to make sure to connect everything to the other, to the end result, keeping their major end goal in mind. So like, I usually like to put goal at the top of the proposal. Like, I heard you, you want to increase your sales by 40% in 6 months. This is the plan to do that. So just so we're all on the same page. And then at the end, you want to ask them, what's your timeline for making a decision? That's the other thing, is that they'll often be like, well, we're going to discuss and blah, 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 and we'll get back to you. And like, you're like, okay, great, thanks. And it's like, man, I don't know when they're going to get back to me. So knowing like, what's the timeline for this decision and being able to have like any sense of urgency around it. So like, well, you wanted to have this in place by the new year. So just want, you know, to put it out there that we should probably get started on the research phase in mid-November in order to have everything in line by the 1st of January. Is that timeline realistic for you? So knowing that, well, and then if you want to talk about follow-up, another thing that is really important about follow-up is most people are following up by saying like, hey, I'm just checking in. I'm just circling back, just touching base. Like basically, are you going to buy my thing? And think about when you get that email, like, do you want to respond to that email? no one wants to respond to that email. So you want to respond, you want to follow up with something that provides them value, that makes them want to respond. So some ideas would be, hey, just got off the phone with my client who's a dentist. We've already increased his client base by 40% in 3 months. Can't wait to do the same for you. Have you made a decision yet? Just published this article that reminded me of your situation where you're dealing with how to, I don't know. You know what I mean? So have you made a decision yet? Something that brings value to them, or like just thought of an idea. This would work so well for your Christmas campaign. Look at what these people are doing. I could see us doing this for you and it being a huge hit. Have you made a decision yet? Other things could be like, if you have a sense of urgency, it's like, in order for us to get to this point that you wanted to at this time, we need to start by December 1st. Otherwise, the timeline would need to, we wouldn't be able to realistically launch till February 1st. If that's okay with you, it's okay with me. Have you made a decision yet? Yeah, when you follow up. Yes. So yeah, anyway.
Conversational. Yes, because it's very conversational what you're doing, and yeah, very different to what we used to.
Yeah. So in a sales conversation, in an email, and if anybody here does copy, you want to write like you talk. So you're not going to be like, oh, I hope you're doing well. Would you ever say that to a human? No, you wouldn't. Maybe you'd be like, I hope you're having a great Monday, but move that to the end of the email and keep that email short and to the point with value. If you need to break it up in sections with headers, do it. Bullet points, yes. Skimmable, always. So the little like pleasantries and niceties are a really great way to close out the email. But like in marketing, the first line is your most attention span. So you're wasting it by saying like these silly pleasantries that also seem like kind of inauthentic and fake. I hope you're well. Like, do you? I feel like you don't hope I'm well. Like the point would be like giving value. So like that would make me feel like you care that I'm well. I see your company did this and that. I love what you're doing. I can see that we really amplify it with the campaigns that we were discussing, could see this getting a lot of traction on Instagram. Have you made a decision yet? At some point, ask them, how are you doing? Like on the call, Marie? Or what do you mean?
Marie,
well, go ahead.
Marie. No, you explain.
Okay. At some point, I always ask them, how are they doing? Because I do keep that human factor in it. Like I do try to ask them how they're doing and how, maybe not like the very first sentence usually, but some point throughout that conversation, I say, so how's things going? Because sometimes I'll follow up and they will report back to me. I can't get back to you right away because something happened. So I will go back. How's it going? How was the outcome of whatever you told me what happened? You know what I mean? So if they had a situation, I might do a follow up with that, if that makes sense. Do you want to?
Yeah. As long as it's genuine.
Yeah.
Like it's genuine. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's genuine, it's great. A general, how are you? I don't think anyone's going to answer honestly with that one,
Right.
It's kind of like when someone asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, do you really want to know? You just want me to say good and kind of like move on.
Just to put some context around here, are we talking about email or direct at this stage, or any? Like I know we got in the copywriting and they got the attention, but when
my question was email, right, Marie? You're talking about email?
Right.
Oh, email. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was lost. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay. No, yeah, you were talking about email, which is spot on. So thank you.
Because Marie books a lot of appointments. I'll just tell you that, and she's like fine tuning the process. She's always looking to other people, but she sees a lot of slimy salespeople too, and she doesn't like that. So Marie's genuinely interested in people, but sometimes she'll admit she gets off track, and we'll talk about we'll go down a rabbit hole. So
okay, so there is such a thing as a rapport hole.
There you go.
You'll be like, wow, we had such a great conversation. Like they're definitely going to move forward. And then they kind of ghost you. And it's shocking. And it's because you talked about everything except business. So somebody doesn't want to work with you just because both of y'all's kids play baseball in Little League or whatever, you know? So I try to keep the rapport to 5 minutes, like no more than 5 minutes, because they need to understand that you have an interest in what they're doing and you are trying to understand that. And then also they need to understand what value you bring and how you can solve it. So if there's not enough time for that, then they're not going to want to work with you, understandably. So if you're having an issue with somebody going on and on and on, or really getting off topic or going down weird rabbit holes. So there are a couple ways that you can deal with that by saying, like, number one, like, oh, I could tell that we could talk forever, but I really want to respect your time.
Right.
You know, coming from that, like, I want to respect your time place. If somebody will really not stop talking, you can say, like, oh, can you hold on just 1 second? I'm so sorry. You don't have to tell them what you're doing.
I love it.
And come back and just get right back to it, like the topic at hand.
That's good, because I've had a few of those conversations, and I'm sure I'm not the only one in this audience that's gone through and dealt with that kind of conversation. So I appreciate that.
We don't want it done to us. We don't want to do what others do to us. We want to, be the difference makers. So very
Exactly.
important.
Thank
Yeah,
you
they
so
don't need a
much.
friend. They don't need a friend. We do like to work with people that we like, but we need the other person to also be an expert and able to help me, not just a friend. So sometimes it can be confusing in the sales process that, like, we got along so well, but they didn't need a friend. They needed someone to help them. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that those are probably my biggest things that I see freelancers tripping up on. Of course, there's many layers to sales and lots of other things you can do. But I think my time is up, isn't it?
Why don't you tell people? I know you've got a few things going, so let's share one of the links where people can get, like, I believe there's a free bonus. I've got it up here. Just give me a sec. Do you mind sharing your screen and I'm just going to put this link in here for everybody to look. Your free step pitch. So I think a lot of people here in the freelance industry, they really love the comfort of having, those frameworks to work through, but it does take, experience. It does take practice. Oh, sorry, Aleasha, I hope I didn't put you on the spot by having you share your screen. I can share mine here.
I can share mine. That's fine.
Yep. But basically, tell us what you got going and how people can get this. And I do know you've got something coming up. So, you're doing something special, and we're also going to be showing people how they might be able to work with you. And if you've got a great kind of conditional guarantee too, which is another, copy kind of element. So yeah, just show us.
I do. That's true. Yeah. So this is my pitch weaving formula. So a lot of people think that they need a sales call to be like Q&A pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really puts up somebody's defenses, because you go into the pitch and they know that you're, like, selling. There's a huge missed opportunity in the discovery section to actually weave in your pitch there and have, like, very little heavy lifting to do on the back end of it. And so that's what this pitch weaving guide is about. And yes, I have my mentorship. So my mentorship is a one-on-one and a mastermind blend, where we create a framework for you, customized to you. And I help you with, like, sales calls, reviews, with, marketing stuff, proposals, those kinds of things. And it's also got a mastermind where we, like, all have contributing minds together. So, and then there's, like, so it's one-on-one mastermind blend, because they provide very different things. And there's a guarantee. There's a guarantee that I will double your investment by the end of 16 weeks, or you will get your money back 100%, or I will switch to doing just one-on-one with you. But you have to have at least one call a week. So lead gen and sales are different. And a lot of times people think they're the same. So leads, if you have leads and not under 40 or 50% of them are moving forward, you could close a lot more business. So a lot of people think, like, I just need more leads. No, converting more of the leads you have is going to be the fastest and least time consuming way to more money. So if you have a good source of leads and they're just not coming in, That's like my sweet spot. You can make money like within 14 days together. So as long as you have one a week, then I can definitely include that guarantee. So we have 5 hours of one-on-one and 16 hours of mastermind, and unlimited access in between, because sales is a very real-time thing. So, being able to say like, this follow-up is coming up. What do I say? Like, this is happening in Messenger. I'm not sure how to convert them, and those kinds of things. So
What about structures? I know Marie took Marie took a course from somebody doing direct sales, and it's not something that really was aligned with her values in terms of the way they taught it. And I don't think they had all the stuff you're offering. Like, you're helping people, I think, package their offer. You're helping people all the behind the scenes things, not just going out and emailing people on Facebook, pitching them in a numbers games, because a lot of these people, and Marie's been through a few courses, they teach it as a numbers game. So I really like your approach, and it is a numbers game, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's also, Marie likes to put a heart into it, and she also likes to not waste time and get burned out.
I'm not a numbers game kind of gal. So that is really common with sales coaches. I'm not like, I think that it becomes a numbers game when you start treating people like numbers.
Right.
So when you don't treat them like numbers, more of them are going to come in. So it's really just understanding. And you're right, I help with all the processes, which includes the offer, which includes the audience targeting, which includes your messaging. It's all part of the sales process, because I had a marketing agency for 3 years and was in the trenches doing this stuff. So that definitely plays into how I help my clients, because it's all part of the same thing.
Oh,
I just
perfect.
want
I'm
to
going to
say
put your
thank
link
you
to
so
the live.
much.
Marie, I shared your stream into the group as well. I'm going to put the link there. We're going to ask you a few questions. Then I'm going to stop the stream. I've got go on, Marie. I'm going to.
Now, I really, really want to say thank you, Aleasha, for sharing so much, because it aligns exactly with what I've been working with in my own agency and what I teach with my business students. And I'd love to connect with you afterwards and see if we can't talk about some things offline. But yeah, definitely, I think we can certainly help each other for sure. But oh my gosh, I hope everyone got some value. Does anyone have any questions for Aleasha? We're in the process of trying to bring up the next speakers. So,
Well, Rosalind's here, but if we do not have any questions, I will mention that one thing about Marie is she has volume. People, they run to her, they book calls with her all the time. And I know Marie has to have a better filtering process. I'm sure you have a filtering process before people can get on a call with you, but at the same time, Marie's in a good spot because she's got the people coming to her. And I think if she had this kind of framework to be able to convert more of these people and articulate what she's doing in such a way that it's, I think Marie would really 10 times or 100 times the business. That sounds salesy, but she would really, because Marie, she's an appointment setter, believe me.
oh, thank you, Mark.
Well,
You could tell he really looks out for me.
That's definitely my sweet spot. So it's helping you when somebody has a lot of appointments. You just need to definitely filtering them out better, and being able to articulate the value of what you do in a way that's custom to the person you're talking to. So as long as you're an expert at what you do, it's usually pretty easy to do that, because you already know everything. You're just usually either underselling or like overwhelming with a bunch of extraneous details.
Well, you're getting to see me live in action, because what I do is event management. So, and it's mostly for webinars, but I'm helping Mark with his summit. So it's my yearly commitment for him. But yes, so definitely you get to see what I'm doing now. I don't even have to
I
explain
can
it.
help her with the copy on the website, which I'm trying to fix for her, but I can't help her with verbal copy because I am not good at that. We've got Rosalind here, one of our upper speakers, and she's a perfect linguist, and she's really good at, hi, Rosalind. By the way, we're going to turn the live streaming off shortly, Rosalind, because we're kind of putting this out there because we want people to get this micro training that Aleasha's offering us on how to do sales without pressure.
Yep. Yeah. And once we're finished with this, we're going to stop the live record, and that way we could bring Rosalind, our next speaker, up, which is within the next 6 minutes. But oh my gosh, you did such a fantastic job, Aleasha. Thank you for coming in and being our surprise speaker.
Surprise! An intruder, a surprise intruder.
Yeah,
all right,
love
you guys.
Anytime.
Wonderful session.
Keep in touch. Thank you, darling. All right. Enjoy. And let me just do the check.